I got some, but okay. All right, well, there we are. Hey, everybody, we are live, only 1 minute late. We were scrambling, not going to lie, but Bradley got everything sorted out, so here we are. And this is Hump Day Hangouts, episode 137. Today's the 21st of June, so we'll do our thing real quick and say hi to everybody, and then we will get started. So, Chris, how's it going, man?
Doing good. On a heat wave here in Austria.
Yeah, what kind of temperatures are you dealing with?
34 degrees Celsius. And
right, that's like 90 something, I think, right?
Yeah, 93 or so.
Yeah. All right. I'll pass. I'm living in luxury, man. It's like 75. This has been awesome. It's, Hernan, how about yourself? You got like 6 feet of snow or something, or what's going on down there?
No, it doesn't snow, actually. It doesn't actually snow in Buenos Aires, so it's not even funny, you know? Okay. So, yeah, you get the whole humid cold, but it's not even fun to go out. But anyways, yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for tomorrow's webinar for the Battle Plan members. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome, awesome. Marco, how you doing, man? It looks pretty nice there. I'm guessing the weather's probably pretty good. Maybe?
Maybe he's muted.
Maybe not.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with the weather is probably pretty good, but we'll fill that in later. So Bradley, how you doing, man?
Good. I'm glad that I got it fired up at the last minute, man. It was my Chrome cache was, I guess, clogged up. I guess 2 gigabytes of cache is enough to slow down the browser.
Imagine that.
So I had to shut everything down, run CCleaner, and then start it back up, and it took longer than I expected. But we're here, so better late than never.
Good deal. All right. Well, just real quick, if you're new to Semantic Mastery, first of all, thanks for showing up to Hump Day Hangouts. We certainly appreciate it. You should definitely check out the battle plan. I'll share that link shortly below. And then also, if you haven't yet, for some reason, signed up for your free account at SerpSpace, head over there. We got the done for you services there, and also a couple free tools with more coming, stuff like markup and stuff like that. And then before we dive into stuff, I just want to share, this is like Adam's little book report minute. I've been taking my book reading up a notch. I'm trying to knock out a book like every week or two. And so this is High Profit Prospecting. Let's see, who's this by? Mark Hunter. So good book so far. It's exactly what it sounds like if you're someone who does outreach for customers, who I'm guessing nearly everybody here should probably be doing that. I think it's a good read. The big one, it's on prospecting, obviously, and then attitude, as well as getting into the specifics of how you can approach people, which is really good. I don't come from a sales background. So it's been a good refresher. You know, we always hear about, you know, okay, here's the ABCs of this, but definitely good to go into that and get some more details. So a pretty good read. I think it was like $10 on Amazon. So if you're interested in that, you should check it out.
Awesome.
Cool.
That's a really good recommendation. I haven't read that one yet, but I'm going to add it to my list. I'm trying to do the same thing, Adam, is read a book about a book every 2 weeks or so. And I only got 30 minutes scheduled every day to read, but I'm trying to keep to that schedule so that I actually get it done. And I'm just finished reading for the second time Bill Good's Hot Prospects book. So that one's probably going to be a good one to follow up with. So I appreciate you pointing that out.
Yeah, and I'll probably post something on the page, on the Semantic Mastery page, if people are interested. If you guys are interested or you have any questions or anything, just pop a question on this page here at the event, and I'll answer that. But anyways, you guys have any announcements? Anything we need to cover today?
I think we're good.
I think so.
All right, let's roll.
All right, cool. Let's see. Before I get into
before you get into that, for you guys dealing with the heat, I just want to show you something. I just want to show you something, man. Dig that, motherfuckers. Dig that. 75 degrees, beautiful weather. Come on, man.
Tropical
Why
climate.
deal with the heat? Why deal with the cold? I mean, I have a little waterfall in the background, just keeping me peaceful. Why are you guys
think that Marco is subsidized by the government, you know, to boost tourism?
Right? It's trying to log in, man. He's using my login, but so if you see 2 Marcos, it's Ed.
That's cool. Ed is one of our newer mastermind members. He's a real hustler. He's been out just crushing it and getting new clients and all. I mean, it's just amazing how much action that dude's taken. So he's down there visiting Marco right now, and if he can, he'll jump on. All right, so let's get to questions and stuff. There's something I do want to share in just a moment, though, just very quickly, because I want to show you guys something. Let me zoom in on all this first. All right, cool. So this is something you guys should be seeing my full screen, correct?
Yeah, I got your whole desktop.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to zoom in on this a little bit. All right, this is from Pro Rank Tracker. This is a screenshot I just took yesterday of a local video that I had done for the video production company that I do a ton of work for. They had a client or one of their customers had been used, like, I guess have been paying for for SEO services for their video for about 6 months. And then they allowed their subscription to lapse or to expire, I guess. And so I unlisted the video, which was in the #1 position for the 6 months or 8 months, 6 or 8 months, whatever it was that it was running before their subscription expired. And once once it had expired, I just went through and unlisted the video, but it had been sitting at #1 for 6 or 8 months. So when I unlisted the video, obviously it fell out of the index for a while. And it was probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months had passed before they resubscribed to the service for whatever reason. I don't know why they went so long without renewing, but whatever. They contacted the video production company and renewed their Video Boost subscription. That's what they call it. And so I went in and just reset the video back to public instead of unlisted. However, it didn't just appear back in #1 position, and I didn't expect it to. In fact, I even charged the company, the video production company, another setup fee, even though all I had to do was go in and unlist it, or set it from unlisted to public. I still charged them the additional setup fee, which is a one-time fee for whenever I initially add a new video to a marketing campaign. And I told them it's been paused for the last few months, so I'm going to have to charge you an additional setup fee. And they said, that's fine, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, I went in and I set it to public, and I left it alone for a couple days. Well, first of all, it didn't re-index right away, which was kind of weird. But then when it did re-index, which I had to kind of force it to re-index, which, again, I thought was a bit strange. But when it did, you can see where the two keywords, the two main keywords that I was tracking, which is basically one keyword, just a variation of it. Because that's how I do it with the video production company, guys. I always, each video targets one keyword or a close variant, so that it will rank for, the close variance of that keyword, if that makes sense. So I was only tracking 2 keywords for this one video, but you can see when it did re-index, it re-indexed at position 9 and position 12 or 13 respectively. And what was crazy was all I did was I sent this video through a video Powerhouse blast. I did a map or an embed blast of about 50 embeds. I did both primary and secondary embeds of only 50. And then I went in and I set up a YouTube AdWords campaign, an AdWords for video campaign, using the video as the actual. And so let me just explain how I did this, guys. I set up inside of AdWords, I used in-stream video option, right? So it wasn't a video discovery ad. I just took the same video that I wanted ranked, right? And I used that URL as the in-stream video ad URL. And then the landing page link that you click on from the in-stream ad, right? That's always the link that's in the bottom left corner of the video when an in-stream ad is playing. That, all I did was use that YouTube URL, the same video that was the ad itself. I used that URL as the landing page URL, right? So does that make sense? So essentially, an in-stream ad that when clicked will take somebody to a YouTube video. And it's the same YouTube video. But what I did was I set up geographic targeting, and I went into interest targeting using the in-market or ROI interest-based targeting, which is called in-market targeting. Very, very, very powerful. I started playing with that a lot recently, and I'm getting really good results, especially for local. So I set geo-targeting, and I used interest-based targeting, the in-market ROI targeting, and I went and I found that specific category, and this is a home services type of business, and I selected that proper category, and I set my budget for $1 per day, guys. $1 per day. Now, if anybody who's been following me or following us for long, you know that for like the video production companies, I only charge $100 per month per video to rank, or per keyword to rank for for them. That's what I provide as wholesale services. So I'm only making $100 a month, but I set up a $30 or excuse me, a $1 a day budget that has local IPs with people that are in market. Let me explain what I mean by that. Google understands now through browsing history, recent browsing history, what people are looking for. Like if they're in market, so to speak, for a particular product or service, then Google knows that because they've been searching buyer type keywords, commercial intent keywords recently. It's in the recent browsing history, right? And so Google places those people into a bucket that means that they're highly likely, or they're really engaged with that particular product or service or keyword at that moment. So it's highly likely that they're in the market. That's why it's called in market for that product or service. So it doesn't matter what videos they were going to look at, the people in that bucket, doesn't matter what videos they were going to look at on YouTube. My ad can play in front of any video, a silly cat video. It doesn't matter because they had by Google's own, you know, Google has categorized them as being in market. So they're likely to convert. So the reason I'm explaining this to you is because with something so simple as setting up a $1 a day ad, and I got 10 clicks in the first day, or no, I'm sorry, it was 5 clicks in the first day. I had 10 impressions, 5 clicks. So it was a 50% click-through rate on the video, which was interesting, but they're all from local IPs, from people that are in market. So that means it's highly relevant traffic. It's relevant for 2 reasons: the geographic location, so local IPs essentially, which will count as a local IP click to that video, plus those are in market visitors or viewers, right? Clickers, so to speak, YouTube users. They're in market for that particular product or service category anyway. So that means it's highly relevant. Well, Google and YouTube knows that. So now the traffic, that the engagement that I just purchased from Google AdWords to that video was locally relevant and topically relevant, and it shot it direct. The very next day, it had jumped from whatever this is, 9 and 13 or whatever, to the #1 position. And in fact, one of these keywords is now triggering the great big video. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. It doesn't happen very often, but where the video is ranked #1 and it's freaking huge, and it takes up where like the maps pack would normally be. That, and all I did, guys, like I said, was just set up a local, I ran a 50 embed blast through Video Powerhouse, and then I set up a local YouTube ad. And this was just yesterday. You can see that, you know, yesterday's when I took this screenshot, and it jumped basically in 48 hours. It went from not being indexed to being indexed at like 9 and 13 for that variant, that keyword, to being #1 and also triggering that great big large video in the SERP, which is amazing. And I just wanted to kind of point that out, guys, because I know we've talked about that here on Hump Day Hangouts a lot, about using AdWords, because you're buying engagement signals from, and you can specifically pinpoint where you want the engagement signals to come from, right? You're paying Google for engagement signals. Instead of buying views or buying fake social signals, you can buy real organic, you know, like I say, they're organic because they're real. They're real click-throughs and real views from real people on real IPs and real devices with real browsing histories in a real location, if that makes sense. And it just works like crazy. So any of you guys that are doing SEO, video SEO stuff, especially local, guys, this should just be a standard operating procedure for any one of your local campaigns, is set up an ad, run the targeting like I just mentioned, geographic targeting. And even if you just do $1 a day, just until you get it ranked, and then pause your ad campaign, it'll help immensely. So brief little tutorial. Hopefully that was helpful. Anybody want to comment on that before we get into questions?
That was pretty amazing, Bradley.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's quite, I mean, it's just amazing. And the fact that I saw it, like, you know, that it triggered those big videos, which is crazy, because that's rare that happens. The 6 or 8 months that it was ranked #1 before I had unlisted it, it was never a big video. So it had quite an effect. All right, cool. Earl's up first. He says, can you suggest a place to get double verified Gmail accounts? I cannot seem to find a source on Fiverr that I want to use. Okay. I'm going to recommend the guy that we have been using for, I'd say, over a year now. But one of our mastermind members, Bo, who's also our moderator in the Syndication Academy Facebook group, said that he's had terrible communication experience with with this dude. So anyways, I've never had any problems with him. He's always been really good about replacing any accounts. The communication's been good. So I'm going to point it out anyways, but I just want to, you know, mention full disclosure that one of our members is having issues with him. So just take that into account. This is the only guy I've used for bulk or phone verified accounts that's been any good for like well over a year. So I've just stuck with him. It's bulkpva.com.
Yeah. I'd like to mention too that we ordered accounts and they were resold.
Okay, so don't use them is what you're saying.
No, I'm not saying don't. I'm saying that when you get them, you have to change the phone number and the email, right? The email that you use to recover the password. Switch that up right away in all whatever accounts that you order, which is a pain in the ass, which is why you should have a VA.
Yeah.
Because they did get resold, and so it was a whole big mess. And so, you know, we talked to him, and he just gets so many orders that he's swamped. And so I think it's more a case of him not paying attention to what he's doing rather than being dishonest.
Yeah.
But I want to add that happened to us.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that because, again, and that's why I wanted to fully disclose what Bo had mentioned too, because like I said, I have never had any issues with him. But in part, the reason Marco just said that he thinks it's because he's getting too many damn orders, that's probably because I've recommended the dude quite a bit. He was extremely happy when I started recommending him because he was like, oh, and maybe that's why I never have any issues with him, because he always takes care of me because I sent so much business to him. But regardless, like I said, you know, be careful. Earl, that's the only guy I've used, but apparently there's some people have been having issues recently. So there you go. Chris says, I recently had WordPress take down one of my syndication channels without warning. Not exactly sure why. Maybe because some of the content was being syndicated with short codes that did not translate well to the WordPress site, or maybe it was posting too often. Wondering the best way to handle this. Do I try rebuilding all the site posts that used to be on WordPress all at once or over time, or another WordPress site, or just start syndicating with a new channel and not worry about getting the older stuff posted? Chris, that's going to happen from time to time. No matter what you do, there are going to be times where one of your Web 2s, even a branded property that you've taken well care of, will sometimes still get terminated because of the automation that we're using that sometimes will trigger it. There's just a number of reasons. It's rare. We go to great lengths through how we set up these accounts to prevent them from that happening, but it does happen from time to time, and there's nothing any of us can do about it, right? Except try to prevent it, right? So, Chris, yeah, we've even had some of ours terminated. And what you mentioned about a short code. So, like, if you were using a plugin or something on your main money site that inserted short codes into the post, which would obviously, when the page was loaded, would convert into a script or an image or whatever it was that you needed it to be. When it gets syndicated, that's not going to occur because that plugin's not present on the WordPress.com site, if that makes sense. So you got to be careful about that. We've had that same issue on a number of occasions with some of the stuff that we've syndicated from our own blog, causing problems. Like, you know, form code, for example, opt-in form code that just looks like raw code on the page because it doesn't translate because it's not in a short code and the plugin's not present, that kind of stuff. So you just got to be wary of all of that. Something that you can do if you are going to continue to use those kind of like short code plugins and things like that on your money site. Excuse me, I got somebody calling in. Hold on a minute, let me hang up on them. Sorry, guys. Give me a second. It's my Google Voice number. It's a spam call, I'm sure. Okay, so if you're going to continue to use those kind of, it's still ringing. I'm going to have to let it just ring out. If you're still going to use those kind of plugins, I would recommend that you just set your WordPress post to your RSS settings from full post to summary. Now, I know for branded properties, we like to recommend using the full post and the full text of the post instead of just the summary. But if you're using short codes and things like that from your main money site that aren't going to syndicate and post into the blogs of your syndication network, then you may want to use the summary post instead. Okay? Or reconsider what you're posting within the content of your posts so that you don't have those issues. You could do that as well. All right, Dave's up. He says, I have a new tier 1 network for YouTube. By the way, just so you know, I would say start a new WordPress.com site and then just start syndicating posts from that point forward, the moment of origin forward, if that makes sense. Because I wouldn't worry about going back and publishing all the already published posts on the new WordPress site. I wouldn't worry about that. It's too much manual work. If you got a VA that you can send it to, fine, but I wouldn't do it yourself. If it were me, I would just create a new account, attach it to the network, set up the automation, the triggers and all that, and then I would just post from that point forward. Okay. Dave says, I have a new tier 1 network for YouTube for a money channel. Is it a bad idea to upload the 30 videos at once? Will it cause problems with some of the new network properties getting that many videos all at once? Yeah, I wouldn't do that, Dave. I would probably not do more than like 5 posts per day. But you could do that, 5 posts per day over 6 days. That's what I would do. And it's just because when you hit especially a new network with like a whole bunch of posts all at once like that, it's likely going to be terminated. Okay, so you don't want to do that. In fact, like we always mention, or it's mentioned in the training, you should post a few posts as we call seed posts and leave it sit for a few days. Posts with no links, by the way, or only links to other blog posts on that same platform. So in other words, if it's a blogger blog, you can link to another blogger blog post from somebody else's blogger blog because it's still the blogger domain. I wouldn't have any external links. Okay, I would be an internal link to another blogger blog. It might not be yours, but it's somebody else's. That's the only type of link I would have. And then I let it sit for about 7 days before starting to do any automated posting. And then when you do, ramp up slowly. Don't do 30 at once. Do something like, maybe a 1 or 2 a day for a couple days, and then you can ramp it up from there. If you've only got 30 videos, I'd probably spread that out over, a week to 10 days, something like that. If it's a new network. If it's an established network, you can be a little bit more aggressive. All right. Columbia, she's been crushing it. She's been a go-getter. Columbia, I'm really proud of you coming here every week and asking questions, and I see that you're going with the agency model. It sounds like you're well on your way, and just wanted to say that that's awesome. We appreciate you being here and taking action. She says, my goal is to promote videos in 5 to 8 niches, with each niche having a YouTube channel and associated website to support videos from multiple cities, as I'm wholesaling video promotion service. Very good. She says, if I set up 5 to 8 YouTube channels with each having an associated website, can I put all of those on my main Google and YouTube account, or do I need to break them up under some separate persona Google accounts? Each associated website will just have a tier 1 network, but I will likely want to stack 2 or more tier 2s on some of or most of the YouTube channels, which is, yeah, that's a good idea, Columbia. Is it a good idea to your main Google account? Okay. Again, and this is the same advice that I always use. Even though I can tell Columbia that you're going to be taking care of these networks and you're not going to be doing anything real spammy. You're setting up for long term. I still recommend that you would create each of the 5 to 8 YouTube channels under a different persona account, and then add yourself, Columbia Jones, your profile as a manager of all of them. So after you've created the YouTube channel under a persona account, then you go in and you add yourself as a manager so that you can access, manage, and maintain all of those channels from your main Google profile. It'll make it convenient and easy, much easier to work on, but it will protect each one of those channels in the event, God forbid, that something were to happen to your account, Columbia, that you wouldn't lose all of those assets. Because even if your account got terminated, and again, that's, worst case scenario, but if your account got terminated for some reason or another, all of those other channels would still be present and available because they weren't you as the profile, Columbia Jones, wasn't the channel owner. You were just a manager, if that makes sense. So I do that specifically for risk mitigation, right? Just create a different persona account, set up the channel, and then make yourself the manager. And that way it just, you protect yourself. So how many channels with each associated website can I run on my main Google account without running into problems, as I will be setting up 5 to 8 niches all within a single month? Again, if you do it, you can manage up to 50 channels from any one profile. So again, set them all up underneath different, so the channel owners are different personas. different Google accounts, and then add yourself as a manager. And you can add as many up to 50 channels as a manager to your account, Columbia, and that won't look weird at all, because there's a lot of people out there that are, digital marketing consultants, and they manage a lot of channels and stuff. So it's natural to do that. I wouldn't worry about it. If I do need to break these up and put them under separate Google accounts, would those persona Google accounts be a persona individual or persona business name? It can be a persona business name. It doesn't matter, because you're setting up a business channel. Does that make sense? So when you create a persona, you're going to have a persona, a profile-based YouTube channel. That just comes associated with the Google account that you create. But when you go to set up a channel, you want to create a business channel. That's how you give it a brand name and all that other stuff. Okay? All right, great question, by the way, Columbia. Mohammed's up. He says, hey, guys, I've started doing lead gen for a local home builder, and I have a question. It's a revenue share agreement. So for every sale he makes, I get a good amount. That's a great strategy, Mohammed. That's the same type of model that I prefer. I trust this guy since I've worked with him before, but I still want to make sure that I know what's going on. Is an answering service like the one you use on Local Kingpin the best way to do this? It is in my experience, Mohammed. So the reason why I say that is because I get any call that goes, okay, so on the lead gen sites that I have that on just about 95% of them, I have an answering service, call center set up that I pay for. It's my expense. But the reason I do that is because any call that comes through, it does several things. Number one, it screens the calls, because anybody here that has been doing either has your own local business, or you provide local business marketing services, and you manage stuff for clients, you already know that you get freaking hammered with solicitation calls all day long from every type of business out there, from credit card processing machines to marketing services to Yelp. Yelp will call you 15 times a freaking week. It's ridiculous. And so I use an answering service, number one, because it's an automatic call screening system. Any solicitation call gets screened out by the answering service. So it doesn't bother the contractor or the service provider who's purchasing the leads with a bunch of spam calls, right? So that's number one. Number two, any lead that's a valid lead is going to answer the call screener's questions, which means once that lead is done, or once the call is over, that's a bona fide lead that I can bill for. Now, obviously, I still get some solicitation leads that come through. In other words, they're people that answer some questions from the call screener. And then so the lead still gets pushed through, but it's very clearly identified as such when it goes through. So what happens is with Answer Connect, that's the service I use, by the way, answerconnect.com. I've been using them for about 5 years. Great service. Anyways, I get a email copy of every lead call that comes through. And then it also gets emailed and texted to the service provider. And so again, I like to use it because it's a call screening system. I have a record of everything. I've got an email and a text record, plus Answer Connect keeps records of everything as well. And so for me, that's how I validate everything. Now, if somebody submits a web form, a contact form, contact request form on a lead gen page instead of calling, then I get a copy of the email that also gets sent to the service provider. And now I'm using Zapier or Zapier. I don't know the proper way to pronounce it, Zapier, whatever. But I'm using Zapier or Zapier to send an SMS text alert. It connects with Twilio, but it basically monitors a Gmail address. And every time a new lead comes in from that lead gen funnel, it triggers Zapier to send a text message via Twilio to the contractor, notifying him that a new lead had come in and to check his email for the lead data. And that's only for contact request form submissions, if that makes sense. Phone calls go through Answer Connect. Go ahead.
May I add something, Bradley? I think that this is really valuable. And you first told me about Answer Connect back in the day. I think it was 2 years ago. But I think that you're adding a lot of value to the process, right? Because if you can sell a qualified lead, because here's the deal, you can sell that lead to one contractor, for example, or to one client. That will be like an exclusive lead, or you can get it qualified and sell it to multiple contractors or to multiple businesses, right? You will need to be really clear that that lead will be, you know, sold to many, so that yeah, I mean, the value of that lead usually decreases. You know, if it's a qualified plus exclusive lead, you can charge premium for that, because they are going through, it's not completely automated, they are going through some kind of interaction with a person, right? So I think that adds a lot of value, and it will solve a lot of problems in terms of tracking and in terms of qualifying the leads, again, because, you know, you want to send the contractor the best possible leads, you know. Yeah. So I think that adds a lot of value. It's a little bit more expensive to run it that way, but I think it's totally worth it, because again, you can charge a premium for your leads because they are coming through a verified source, right? They're going through a human interaction first, and then they're going to be pushed through the contractor. That doesn't mean that the contractor doesn't have to move, or your client will, you know, they will have to act fast, because that lead is warm right on the spot, right? That they're hot, they've gone through one interaction, they're going through another, so they're really into the purchase process. But I mean, that adds something that you can 100% outsource. It's a little bit more expensive, but this is kind of the little things that add a lot of value to your business and will make those businesses stick with you for a longer time than any other, you know, lead generation company that does this massively, and all they're doing are pushing calls. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And the other part of that is, you know, by providing the answering service, we're doing the service provider a favor too, because the calls are automatically screened, and it prevents them wasting time and energy on answering the phone for spam calls or solicitation calls. And that's a huge selling benefit for contractors or for service providers. Again, mostly for me, it's contractors. So, but like Hernan said, I also, you know, if you're going to sell, I promote my services as exclusivity of leads. It's rare that I will ever sell a lead to more than one service provider. It does happen from time to time, but it's usually rare, and it's usually because there's a specific reason for it. So I always just charge more per lead if I'm selling on a per lead basis, or if it's a revenue share, like what you're talking about, Mohammed, then it's an exclusive lead anyways. That's just, you know, that's a given. So is the last part of your question, is it normal for keyword lists from AdWords to have names of different cities? Despite my living in Alberta, Canada, a large portion of my AdWords list contains American cities and states. Yeah, that's because the vast majority of search traffic is coming from the Google US. But just, Mohammed, what you can do is, and this isn't an AdWords tutorial, guys. I certainly am not going to log into my AdWords dashboard to show you this. But Mohammed, what you can do is make sure that you set your advanced location targeting or advanced location options to where you are only only include people that are in your target location, not that are in and show interest in. That's number one. So do that, number one. Number two is set an exclusion list. That's something else you can do. And again, I can't go into it and show it to you here, but you can set an exclusion list and actually specifically exclude like all 50 the United States, for example. And if you set that as your exclusion list, then people that are searching, even if they're in your target location, so let's say Alberta, Canada, but they search for, let's say, you know, remodeling company, New York City, then if you have New York or all of United States in your exclusion list, then it will prevent the ad from showing to them, even if they're in your Alberta, Canada, and they're searching for one of your keywords, which might be, you know, remodeling contractor, or, you know, home service, you know, home builder, or whatever it is that your keyword is. It'll prevent it from showing to them because they're searching or showing an interest in a location that's on your exclusion list, if that makes sense. That's also really important for like call only ads too, guys, that you set your exclusion list to. All right. All right. So Greg's up. He says, hi, wondering really how to test a new YouTube syndication network. How do we download a video from YouTube to test our new YouTube syndication network? Well, you can download it, use Firefox, and use something like Video Download Helper extension or something like that. There's a ton of them, guys. They're a dime a dozen. Just go search Firefox YouTube download extension or something like that, and just pick one. The one that I use is Video Download Helper. Been using it for years. and you can view just about any video in the Firefox browser when you have that extension, and then you can just click the extension itself and download the video. You can do that, but you don't even need to do that, Greg. What I would suggest doing is setting up either a like trigger applet or setting up a subscription trigger applet. So, and then publicly subscribe to one of the, to another channel or something that you can upload a video. What I'm saying is you don't need to download. In fact, for what you're specifically asking, I would say just set up a like trigger applet and just go like one of your videos on one of your other channels, or at least if you don't have a video in that specific niche that's your own video, then just go like somebody else's video that's in that niche. So it will help to theme your network too. Because I see what you're saying is about once it's tested, do we need to go into network properties and remove the syndicated video? Well, if it's a thematically relevant video, right? If it's themed, if it's relevant, then there's really no reason to go in and do that and delete the post from the network. My point is set up a like recipe and just go like a video, whether it's yours or somebody else's, preferably one that's going to be relevant to what the network's about so that you don't have to go in and delete it later. And that's how you can test it. Okay, Alexander, he comes every week now and asks questions as well. So Alexander, what's up, buddy? He says, hi guys, good to be here again. Let's get down to business. I'll do my first video gig for a client. Sweet. He said he paid me to set up to him, but not enough money, so I can make another one for me and use to rank videos as a service. Okay, does using age expired web 2.0 accounts in the persona rings would help boost rankings, or will be worse because we have some random anchor text and referring domains theme? No, aged web 2s will certainly help. I mean, look, if you're doing it specifically for SEO purposes, then yes, using aged web 2.0s will help. There's no doubt. I've seen some really strong tumblers that can do some really amazing things with some strong tumblers, and there's a million Tumblr scrapers out there now, guys. Shit, you can go to Fiverr and like SEO clerks and those different those types of services and get by tumblers now. So it's simple to do, and yeah, those work for purely SEO purposes. You can absolutely do that. Now for branding purposes, I recommend that you set up your own with the branded username. But again, for purely SEO purposes, yes, expired web 2.0s are certainly going to help. Okay. Should I add some RSS feeds to the endpoint accounts that don't trigger others, so that way I get more related content to build their theme topical relevance? You can. That's what, like out at tier 2 and stuff like that, if that's what you're doing. And you said this is a video gig, so chances are you've got multi-tiered networks anyways, then yeah, absolutely you can, guys. That's the thing. If you guys are, I mean, even for YouTube, but especially for blogs. But here's the thing, guys. If you've got like let's say a 2-tier network for YouTube, and remember, YouTube, we don't have to worry about footprint issues or anything else. But my point is if you're uploading videos, but you're not staying consistent and you're not uploading a lot of videos, but you want to keep increasing the power of the network, then yeah, set up some related content triggers on the tier 2 networks, even for YouTube networks, guys, because you can start feeding relevant content into those secondary networks. I don't do it to the branded networks. I never do it to the branded networks, but on the tier 2 networks or persona-based networks, they can be tier 1 persona-based networks tied to your YouTube channel, right? But even for those, yeah, it makes absolute sense to use related content feeds to add additional content to those networks, because it'll help to increase the relevancy, and it will, again, instead of all the content just coming from one source, which would be your YouTube channel, you start to make it look more natural because it's starting to curate. It's essentially what you're doing, right? Other people's content, related content. So absolutely you can do that. I recommend doing that, in fact, on tier 2 stuff. Okay, or is there a way to do it even for lower tier feeder rings, a way to send content to tier 1 that would not be syndicated again on the other tiers? No, I wouldn't do that. Again, I wouldn't. If it's persona-based tier 1 networks, you can add content into there, and that'll take care of the second tier networks, because you can set the trigger up on tier 1. But if you're doing branded tier 1, then I would set the related content triggers up on tier 2, because I don't like to feed other people's content into branded tier 1s. If that makes sense. Persona-based is fine. Branded, no. If you guys would like, if you can, would like to hear more about backlinking strategies, those kind of persona accounts. Thanks, guys. Backlinking strategies is just contextual links to those properties. If it's out at tier 2, you can be even more aggressive, more spammy. Generally, what we like to do is contextual tier 1s to the network properties. Typically on domains that have not the pages. We've had some issues with people saying, I just got our link report and the PA is 1 on every link page that was created. Well, that's what happens. When you create a new page online, it is a PA of 1, period. It doesn't start with anything higher than 1. And so anyways, my point is that we try to use domains with higher decent metrics, relatively speaking, right? Compared to all the other spam sites out there. And then set contextual links. We try not to hammer our first tier, or excuse me, our network properties, anywhere between 50 to 125 contextual links per property. And then we throw spam behind those. Okay.
Real quick, Bradley, too. Alexander was asking, and for the related content feeds, what tool would you recommend? RSSMasher or RankWyz or something else?
Yes, any one of those. You know, it really doesn't matter. Rank Feeder, which is Lisa Allen's tool, is a great tool. That's more of an SEO tool, which is great. It's very, very powerful. It works really well. It basically is running on the principle of co-citation, and it works really, really well. RSSMasher, which is Damon Nelson's product, that's also good. That's more of there are some SEO benefits that you can do with that, but it's more of in my opinion, more of a traffic tool than it is just an SEO tool. I think Rank Feeder is very specifically an SEO tool, and RSSMasher has a little bit, it's not as good for SEO, but it has other functionalities that make it better for other things, if that makes sense. So you have to figure out what your objective is and select the correct product based upon that. Okay. Okay, cool. You think that answered that? Hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Also, I don't know. Let's see. That was Alexander. Alexander, if you're in the SEO Academy or Syndication Academy, excuse me, the last update webinar we did, I think it was the last update webinar. I showed how to use Zapier or Zapier, whatever, for creating your own custom RSS feeds. And it's awesome because you can basically code your own stuff. You can literally you can create your own RSS feed in Zapier now, like your own custom feed with different content sources. You can splice, you can mash, you can add links into every single feed item. You can add a citation in every feed item. All that was covered in the most recent update webinar. So go back and watch it. Marco, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. Don's up. What's up, Don? He says, for full-on SEO clients, not just video ranking clients, are you using your YouTube channel for putting up client videos and ranking them, or doing it in-market ads and doing the in-market ads, or do you use your own YouTube channel? So are you using your YouTube channel for putting up client videos and ranking them and doing the in-market ads, or you use your own YouTube channel? I think that was the Department of Redundancy department. Yes, I'm still using my own channel. Now listen, what I'll do is I will take when a client has a video, or if I have a video made for a client, which happens a lot, then I will upload that video to their channel, but then I'll also upload it to my channel, because my channel is the one that has all the SEO, all the networks. It's got the authority, the relevancy, all that kind of stuff. Typically, because again, I've already, most of my unless it's a client that I don't have a network built for, like it's in an industry that I have nothing for, in which case I'll just do it on their channel, because I'm not like, but that's why I try to stick with just clients or lead gen assets that are in the categories that I've already built the infrastructure for, if that makes sense. I don't like to I did just take on a new client 3 or 4, no, I guess it's been about 5 weeks now, because I got their first subscription payment from them. So it's been about 5 weeks, but and they're preschool. I've never done any preschool marketing, but it was a client referral from one of my best clients that I've had for 5 years. So that's why I took the job. And so I don't have a network for them. So if that makes sense. So basically, and I've already done a couple of videos for them, but I put it on their channel because again, I don't have a network built for preschools and I don't plan on building one either. So my point is, I use my network where it fits for the SEO part of it. And then, yes, I'll just use, because I'm trying to rank the video through my channel and my network, then that's the same video that I will use in the YouTube ad. If I'm setting up the local, the local clicks campaign, which is essentially what I'm doing. But again, I can still upload the video to their channel as well. That way they feel all nice and warm and fuzzy that their video is on their channel. But all the benefit of that video is coming from my channel, because that's the one that's ranked and providing the clicks and the leads and the exposure and all that kind of stuff. Right.
Real quick, I'm having a conversation with somebody on the YouTube channel. I know some people get lost there and go over to YouTube channel instead of the Google event. So I'm going to double check and make sure everyone's able to get to the event page. But I see that you're commenting on this page too, but sorry, we don't have time to call everyone out by name and ask them to leave their comments. So if anyone else is watching this and is confused, the way we do it is you just come to this page, write your questions on the event page right here. And, we do first come, first serve. So sometimes we don't get to all the questions, but, that's the way it is.
Yeah. This is pretty cool. Thank you, Paul. Paul says, I use this guy for Google and YouTube accounts. Haven't had any problems. He's very reasonable. Live. Mana, I don't know what the hell that says, but he's on Skype. I'm assuming that's his Skype username.
Yeah, it must be.
I'm not sure what the live colon means, but
that might be part of his name. I know you can use periods and other things as part of your Skype name, so that might be it.
That's pretty cool. I'm gonna actually put that in a notepad file, because I might reach out and see what I'll say, hey, you want some business, buddy? Because this other dude, like, we blew his business up, man, because we sent him so much damn work, and now he can't keep up with it, and its quality's starting to slip. So maybe I'll reach out to this dude, see if he's interested in some additional work. Thanks, Paul. Okay. Entreprenate Consulting. Are we able to join the group with video? I'm not sure what you mean.
Yeah, don't worry, I answered him.
Okay. All right. Yeah, Adam, if you want, sir. Yeah, go ahead. We still got about 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, Paul, I think, is one of the people who might be able to join us. I just wanted to let everyone know that we're looking at some possibilities for a Semantic Mastery meetup in the Portland area, Portland, Oregon, in September. So we're going to be having some more information about that. If you're within, a few hours of there and you'd be interested in that, stay tuned. We'll have some more information on that as far as where we can meet up. But we'd like to do, it'd be I don't know, we haven't even decided the details. A few hours, get together, talk SEO, talk marketing, talk shop. I guarantee you have a beer or two and have a good time. So we'll be having some more information about that soon.
Yeah, it's not going to be like, we're not like hosting a live event type thing, guys. It's going to be like literally a meetup, like a casual get together. If anybody wants to come out and see, and hang out with us and have a few drinks and just talk marketing. And really, it's more about networking. It's not like we're going to just have some training session. It's not like that at all. It's about networking, rubbing elbows, meet and greet, that kind of stuff. And obviously we'll be talking shop. There's no doubt, but that's what it's going to be. And it's just going to be like, kind of like a way we're going to start trying to do that. At least we're planning on wanting to do that a couple times a year. So in various parts of the country. So in the US, at least as far as I know, I don't like to travel. All right, cool.
Also, real quick, sorry, yeah, I was going to say, Alexander, are you asking a question about the webinar and Zapier? If you are, before we hop off, say something.
Can I get one of those in my location, like a meetup with you guys?
Right. Alexander says, you guys have already get into the limit of playlists on a channel, because if I want to create one playlist for each focus keyword on a city, I'll end up with it. Yeah, no, I don't. I mean, I don't do that. Look, I don't create like Bill Cousins, he's got a great software, Rocket Video Ranker or whatever. He's got a playlist option in there that will create a single playlist for each keyword as well. I don't do that. To me, that is just way too much overkill. And if honestly, I always use playlists as like a container. It's like a silo. That's it. So, I try to go broad. So like broader type keywords, more top of funnel type keywords with the playlist. And then I put all of like the supporting keywords, longer tail stuff within that playlist. That makes sense. So I don't know if there's a limit to how many videos you can put on a playlist or how many playlists you can have on a channel. I don't know that, because I don't use them like that. So I've never played with that. All right, that's just too much work in my opinion. The other idea is to get just one playlist per city, and inside it work one main keyword plus internal link words for other important keywords. Yeah, I mean, again, I would recommend doing, it depends on how you're going to categorize or silo out your channel, right? You can do a city playlist, and that is, remember, you can have a video in more than one playlist, guys. So let's say that you are providing marketing services in Atlanta, Georgia. Well, let's say in all of Georgia, for example, and Atlanta is one of the cities. So, and let's say that you work with plumbers, electricians, and HVAC worker contractors. Let's just say that those are the 3 types of businesses that you work with. I recommend you should work with 1 and 1 only, but let's just say 3. Then you could have an Atlanta business playlist that has all 3 of those business types in it, because the common denominator, the common theme, is they're all Atlanta-based businesses. Then you could have an electrician silo or playlist, and all electrician videos go in there, 1 for plumbers, 1 for HVAC, right? So you could do that. And then again, you could have the electrician playlist, for example. You could have Atlanta, and Savannah is another city in Georgia, because the common denominator there is they're all electrician videos, right? So you could have electrician videos from different cities in that playlist, if that makes sense. So the point is you can have a video in more than one playlist. The idea is to keep the category or the theme relevant throughout. Does that make sense? So that, again, you can have multiple playlists, and there's a reason for using multiple playlists so that you can increase relevancy across different keywords or different geographic locations as needed. All right. Let's see. Are we almost done, Bradley? Where's the link to the webinar about? Oh man, awesome, Zapier. Thanks. Yeah, that's the last update webinar that we did in Syndication Academy. And for whatever reason, it wasn't posted in the members area after we did it. And I just posted it a couple days ago. Maybe it was Friday of last week. So it is in the members area now in the update section. Hundreds of accounts. Thanks, Paul. We appreciate that. Let's see. Fuck you, Wayne. That's awesome. Yeah, tell me where to get access to the yeah, that's the Syndication Academy, the members area. So it should be members.syndication.academy. That's the login screen. All right.
And real quick, Bradley, just since we're out of questions on this page and we got a couple minutes, over on the live chat on the YouTube side of things, somebody was asking, are we the ones who said to use the Network Empire Silo plugin?
Yes, I mentioned it.
Gotcha.
Somebody
Okay.
asked about it, and I mentioned it.
Cool. So you still use it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not building WordPress sites that much anymore. Very rare. Usually now when I build a WordPress site, it's only for the blog, and that's it, because I'm using ClickFunnels now as my website builder for just about everything.
Gotcha.
However, I'm about to start a project that I am going to need to build silos. And so, and just so you guys know, like on all the sites that I have that are existing sites that have been siloed for the last 4 years, I've been using that plugin. Yes, it was originally called the DWS Silo Builder. I don't know what it's called now. It's a very simple plugin. As far as I know, it's free. It used to be free. That's what I've used. Now, again, if I'm going to silo out another site, I don't even know what the other options are now, because I've just never used anything other than that. So,
Cool.
Anything else?
I think we're good. Last call. We got a couple minutes here. I think that's about it. Anybody got any more announcements or anything else coming up? Let me check our calendar real quick before we hop off. Nope, Hernan mentioned it. The Battle Plan Buyers Update webinar. I'll pop a link in if you want to grab the Battle Plan. Highly suggest you do that. We'll have the update webinar tomorrow. And then we'll have some news going out about a good webinar with Keith and Allison on Monday. So we got some good stuff coming up this in the next week.
Yep. Yeah, I won't be here next week, guys, because I'm going on vacation. So I might pop in, depending on what's going on. It looks like my video is all choppy. It's weird. Anyways, but I won't be here next week. But it looks like the rest of the team has got it covered. So Marco's going to be rubbing his weather in everybody's face as usual. So.
Of course I am. Why else would I live in Costa Rica in paradise if I couldn't rub the weather in your face?
That's right. All right, guys. Well, everybody, have a good day. Let's see. We have a webinar tomorrow, don't we?
Correct.
The battle plan webinar. Yeah.
Correct.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll see a lot of you on that. Otherwise, we'll see everybody next week. Thanks, everyone.
Bye,
Thanks.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.